Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to the post-fight show with Stormybman. Man, wow. It's like boxing keep hitting these home runs, man. I don't know what to say. You know, Stormy is like quite shocked, blown away, taken away, however you want to put it. It is what it is. And we out here to talk about it this evening. This is the post-fight show for Davis versus Cruz. That was on Showtime pay-per-view this evening. We got a chance to once again see a tremendous boxing match, man. I mean, hey, how many times do I have to say it? This fourth quarter of 2021 with boxing, man, they've been on a tear. They've been delivering the goods. You feel me? And what can we say, man? We've been seeing some tremendous boxing. Tremendous boxing. And I want to say, you know, for everybody that's coming out to listen to us on the post-fight show, I really appreciate you guys who tune in, come in, smash the like button, hear what we got to say on it. Allow me to introduce my co-host here. We got Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, who fresh off of his call of the fight. What's good with you, Reggie? Great call, and you can come on in with your opening thoughts, bro. I'm still setting some things up in the backdrop, but go ahead with what you got to say.
Man, what a tremendous fight, and also what a tremendous fight card. These are some good fights. I'm loving the fact that fighters are coming out here to really show who the hell they are. They're not bowing down to whatever the celebrity status or anything of these fighters, that these fighters who most people in this country who don't know ish about fighting, who don't know ish about boxing, and always writing people off, that these guys come out here and deliver shockers. Like I said, I don't know Cruz and want to count him out because there are people around this world who can fight. Everybody who can fight don't come from the cities we from. This dude is Tank. What I was saying, this dude is Tank's Mexican brother. That's who this dude was. This dude was another strong version of Tank. He can take a punch. He kept coming forward. He was delivering punches that were probably as powerful as Tank's. But the thing was, and what people don't look at, and all people talk about, is what a person's power is. This person can punch this hard. Is the fact that Tank's boxing separated everything in this fight that he needed. In this very, very close and tight fight, it wasn't Tank's power that delivered for him. It was Tank's ability to box, Tank's ability to move and make this guy miss. So everybody looking and rating whose power is what, y'all need to hang that shit up in your closet. Put it under your shoe because it don't mean nothing. Tank got out here and had to box his life out. He had to box for his life. And this dude, Cruz, is a bad son of a gun. That dude came in here and throughout this buildup, same thing what I was seeing with Cambosis, is that this dude didn't look like this moment was too big. It didn't look like Tank was that much of a bigger guy as far as status, as far as him. That guy came in there and felt he was on the same level as him. And you knew it was a tough fight by looking at the expressions on Floyd's face. Floyd was worried in this fight. And some people are asking about rematch. Hell yeah, this fight worthy of a rematch, but you best believe they ain't stepped back in there with Cruz. They didn't got this one. Stay away from that guy. And that's my opening on this one. Excellent goddamn night of boxing.
Yeah, we had an indication of how this was going to be when Cruz basically showed himself to be unrattled. You know, he felt like he belonged. And that's a tremendous part of what a fighter needs going forward to compete at the championship level. Now, I remember seeing him on some of the undercards and seeing how he obliterated people with his, you know, aggressive style, compact, short hooking shots on the inside, breaking people down to the body, coming in with uppercuts. Not a lot of boxing to what he was doing, but a great deal of fighting. And with spirit, he did not step away from that tonight. He didn't show like any type of reservation. He took the fight to Tank all night long. And he performed. Even when he got his nose busted or whatever, he was like, shit, this is part of the sport, you know, and he got right back in there. And it was interesting to see he perform as many people didn't know, you know. But and this was truly a step up fight for him, because usually those fighters that fight on those undercards, they take a little longer to get to the point, but he accepted this challenge, and now you know why. And his people were very confident in him. Very good fight, very good performance by both men. And I think Tank exaggerated when he said he hurt his hand as early as the 6th round. I thought it was later. I thought it really came in the 9th. That's when I noticed that he was having some problem. And salute to him for, you know, closing out the show, because he didn't allow it to become too much of a distraction to him. But he did telegraph, you know, what was going on. I'm just impressed with what we've been able to see this weekend in particular. And last week, I stated it. I was like, man, you know, getting these good fights, particularly from the lightweight division, you know, over 2 weeks, you see the top 3 guys, you know, in the sport do their thing. And now you have a clearer understanding of what certain fighters bring to the ring and what they don't. One thing that was nice about this fight and the opponent, Reggie, was we got a chance tonight to see Tank Davis's boxing skills, because he was forced to box this guy, at least early on, when he was in that place where, you know, to try to slow down the raging bull that was Cruz. What I also liked was the versatility that some people may have forgotten that Tank Davis has in his repertoire, to be able to stand out there and pop the jab, shoot combinations, move laterally, get under shots, give great angles. He can do all of that. But he has been put in a position to kind of be a guy to entertain with knockouts and things like that. Maybe if he hadn't hurt his hand, he could have, you know, inflicted more punishment on Isak, but he still performed very well. We can talk about the scoring of rounds and everything in a little bit, but those are my opening thoughts about the fight, Reggie.
Man, yeah, that's all I had on my opening. I guess we'll go into the fight.
Yeah, I scored it a draw.
Oh, yeah. You still there, OG?
Yeah. I was just saying, I scored it a draw.
Oh, yeah. Me, if Tank did not win that last round, I had it as a draw. That fight really started the edge very, very close. And that fight could have went any direction. It was absolutely a very, very tight fight. And Tank needing to win that round. And also going back to what you were saying with the hand injury. And I heard Tank was saying that he heard it early. And then Isak was saying he noticed that Tank heard it. But maybe Tank may have heard it minorly because he kept using it. I think as the fight went on towards that 10th or 11th round is really where he started to kind of show it. And it was kind of late in that 11th round where he started to kind of move around. He kind of took off. I thought he got hurt with a punch. and he really started moving around trying to escape and get up out of there. But it was just like, it was nothing Tank can do to move this guy up out of there. That guy took every single shot from Tank and kept coming forward. And I mean, that was a tremendous fight. And the fact that he was even fighting back, he landed some solid jabs on Tank. He landed some big time body shots on Tank. That I think that's the reason why we're getting a lot of those clinches. A lot of those clinches was to buy these guys, both of these guys, time. If they got hurt with anything, those clinches were so necessary. And even at times, it was one time where Tank, where he leaned over the guy's back and pressed him. There was a moment in there where I think Tank did get hurt. With Tank being over that guy, which was a smart move, how the guy came up under him, Tank leaned that weight to push him down. It really brought Tank some time to get a little breather. As the fight gets clear, he knew the ref was probably going to say something to him, buy him a little extended time on that, and also give them a little space and distance. But he was ripping big time shots to Tank's body, and it was it was a fight that even looking at that crowd, salute to the crowd that Floyd and them got to that arena as well. Because anybody else put a dang fight together like that, you're going to have a lot of people cheering over for Isak because of where he come from. But it's all about how you cater towards an audience, and that's the type of audience you would draw to a crowd. That's why it's necessary for the Al Haymans and Floyd types to be up in there. And I just wanted to throw that one out there for them. But it was a lot that they were doing that. And matter of fact, this is how tough this dude was even early in the fight. Tank was doing a lot of frustrated things. Tank was frustrated early in this fight for the fact that his power could not get this guy up off of him. Where Tank was trying to trick this guy, he tried to push him. He almost thought about lifting and slamming him. He was stepping when the guys, like when they swing out of position and Tank get behind him, Tank almost thought about punching him from standing behind him. And the ref had to kind of grab Tank. Tank had to think about it. Tank had to really get himself settled back down in this fight, and even listen to the corners over there, how dangerous this guy Isak was. What he kept saying to Tank, one coach was saying, protect my jaw. The other one said, keep that phone up there. You hang that phone up there. And he was catching Tank with some shots. I was like over here on the edge of my seat, just hoping one of these punches didn't come that would have knocked Tank out, because that guy does possess that power, I believe, that he can definitely put Tank on his back. But that's my thoughts right there.
Yeah. I don't know if it was strictly due to Tank and Cruz just being within an inch of one another's height or whatever, but it was interesting to see someone go into Tank's body for a change. It was like a different type of a dynamic, and it weighed upon Tank. It gave him some things to think about, because we know that Cruz can punch because of what he's done to other opponents in the past. And man, early on, Tank was playing with fire with those winging shots that were just narrowly missing his face. You know, Cruz was going for it. But I think you're right in that something got in that made Tank say, uh-oh, you know, I better focus up on this dude. And then somewhere around I don't know, Reggie, that might have been when he hurt his hand, 6 through 8, something like that. He started throwing real hard shots himself, you know, like he was trying to batter the guy off of him or something. And even that didn't work. So salute to Isaac Cruz for his intensity and his determination of steady trying to make the fight and take over the fight. And even when Tank did a few things to him, like push him to the canvas and through the ropes and stuff like that, he did not allow himself to be affected by that stuff. He just went right back. He had a very good poker face. There's no way to determine what he was thinking, what he was going through in there. And sometimes you look for that type of reading through a fighter, and he gave us no indication, nothing whatsoever. So, you know, salute to him on that. Very competitive fight. This is what happens when you put young guys in the ring. How many times have I said this? You know, old fighters fighting each other when they're both old, that's entertaining. But when you could catch young boxers who are at at the peak of having speed and movement and reflexes and all of that. This is kind of what you get. And I just want the boxing public to understand that and demand more of that, because staving fights off to so-called allow them to build up. There's nothing like a fight taking place and then someone says, well, this should be the next fight. This is what I want to see next. And that be so. Promoters and managers have really ruined the sport with that thing about trying to let fights build. Because as soon as somebody says, I want to see this or that next, that's the time. Who's going to call for a fight that they don't want to see? And then you have to try to and then you get those who want to force fights that you're not interested in. You know, like the latest thing that came through the Kambosos tour is that, you know, the words were spoken like, oh, Ryan Garcia is a bigger fight than is a bigger fight or a better fight than Devin Haney. I'm like, oh, here we go. You see, because it's like, come on, man. Ryan Garcia he's off the scene right now. He's off the scene. And you're going to reach way over there and try to get that guy's name and throw his hat into the arena when you just fought within a 2-week, you know, weekends of the top dudes. The next guy should be Tank or Haney. Just like that. And that doesn't mean that they're the best. That just means that should be the next fight. Who the hell cares about Ryan Garcia? He's like, you know, he's got problems right now. And none of them had to do with boxing. And if he comes back to boxing, he got boxing problems. Because he's still trying to get over the fact that Luke Campbell Soup dropped him. Huh? He ain't got over that yet. So, yeah. You know, great fight, man. This is something that we look forward to. I want to take a quick moment and just acknowledge some of our people in the chat, Reggie. We got Mark Wunderlich, who came out first. He says, touch that like button, everyone. Hashtag LDBC, hashtag Bomb Squad, hashtag Team Petty. Resident Medic Kenneth Johnson is out there saying salute. Stormy B-Man, salute to you. Sylvestrial's out there saying, Stormy, what's good? Yave is out there saying, yo, Sensei. I liked Haney versus Diaz fight better. Who else we got out there? Derek Bailey is out there. Kenneth Johnson is also saluting you, Reggie. And Shakers and Dice is out there saying salute Stormy, Reggie, and the family. C. Wood is back saying Tank fought smart, especially with that hand injury. Yeah, he had no choice but to try to fight smart. Derek Bailey is saluting us. And Toddy Belafonte is out there saying, salute boxing fam, great fights. What else we got? C. Wood says, fighting on the back foot is tough as hell. Andrew Charles is back. He says, Stormy B-Man 100. Rashid Rourke is back saying, peace everyone. And C. Wood said he had it 7-5 to Tank. For Tank, excuse me. Andrew Charles says Tank looked like he didn't want any part of the 12th round, but I still think he edged it out. Great fight. And Picasso is out there saying, yo, Snacks B says peace Stormy B-Man in the chat. Rashid Rourke says Tank was just missing with the uppercut. Don't think he ever got a clean one in. No, I don't think so either. Andrew Charles says talk about it, Stormy. Murr is out there saying, it's firefight, beautiful. The Expert Genius is out there saying, salute Stormy B-Man. And who else we got? Andrew Charles says, ain't no way Ryan can compete now with these active fighters. There you go. There you go. Rashid Rourke says, Lion Ryan shouldn't even be mentioned at this point. Absolutely, I agree. Were you going to say something, Reg?
No, I was saying facts when they talk about Ryan Garcia. And Ryan Garcia shouldn't be allowed to come in there and jump in when these guys have created lightning and thunder. What, he going to come in here with a pitcher of water? Like,
yeah, man. you know, these men that fought over this past, and all three fights, Reggie, I'm talking about the main events over this past 2 weekends, they were good, highly competitive fights. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone who has not looked to try to be the best in boxing or even try to perform their best at boxing inside that ring, nothing to do with outside the ring, nothing to do with a popularity contest, nothing to do with favoritisms of sanctioning bodies and franchise championships and all that foolishness, should be considered going forward with these three men. They shouldn't be considered because they've already put some work in that deserves a payoff. Now, Kambosos is in a place where he would like whoever he faces to come to Australia, and that's understandable. He's got a few of the belts in his possession, and whoever fights him can be unifying with him. If it's Devin Haney, it can become undisputed. If it's Tank Davis, it could be for the signature star spot in boxing, which is one of the reasons I don't think it'll be Tank right away, because they have their own agenda of where they're trying to take Tank in boxing right now. But Haney, is obvious that he should be the next guy up for Kambosos. What more do you have on tonight's fight, Reggie?
Man, nothing but, man, how tremendous that was, and I think I like Sundays better. I really think I like Sundays better for fight. And I hope they bring more of these dates for fights for Sunday. It leaves people with something to kind of entertain and speak about during the week, because it's almost the same thing as how it works for the NFL. I think boxing can definitely do something with Sunday events, and even using other days throughout the week. That has always been what has been the special side of boxing. The great eras of boxing has not always relegated itself to Saturday. I don't know how boxing, kind of niched itself into only Saturdays for big events. I think Saturday and Sunday should both be used. I like the fact that we didn't have to fight for time slots. Imagine having to work between Devin Haney fight and Tank Davis fight on the same day of the week and missing these great events. I wish they used more of the week. And that's the thing I appreciate about this week. And also the fact that the fighters who got on these fight cards, regardless of what people view them as being underdogs, everybody's fighting their tails off. Since, like you said, when Wilder and Fury fought in that third fight, a lot of spirited efforts have been shown through this part of the dang year of boxing. Boxing was good throughout the year, but this rounding the year off, these dudes are coming out slugging, giving it their all. And even talking about that, the dang Adames versus Derevyanchenko fight was something classical. That was a great fight. And then this main event to come out that way, I mean, wow, I'm going to be elated. Even when I watch these events, sometimes I can't go to sleep. So I think it's going to be another 4 in the morning day for me. But what a fight event. And you want to see this, man. Goodness. Salute to these warriors who fought on these cards.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, Reggie, that fight that took place between Derevyanchenko and Adames, man. That was a pretty darn good fight and could have ended up being a main event itself with the way that they performed. They performed like they had a championship on the line, didn't they?
Heck yeah, that's why I kept saying. I said, what are these dudes fighting for, man? I mean, they gave it their all in that fight. I'm wondering, like, what is this for the heavyweight championship of the world? The undisputed championship of the world? They fighting for a mandatory spot, I think it was, or something like that. Them dudes matched up so well. And to watch how that fight just went up and down, it just flowed all over the place. And they landed some big shots on one another. And they kept moving forward on each other. And it was just like you had Derevyanchenko having to overcome the height and quick reflexes of Adames. Then he started to slowly break Adames down. Adames having great balance. He can fight off of either hand. Him not laying down, him not letting, he'll find a little burst of energy when he's winded. He'll gain a little second wind, and he comes back giving a huge effort. Derenchenko firing back. And they were both, I'm surprised nobody got dropped in that fight. And it just shows the kind of shape that these guys were in. These dudes came in. What that fight showed is that those guys went through the proper preparation for that fight. They didn't step on the brake not once in this fight. They let the gas release. Soon as every time the bell rung, these dudes was on each other's heads. And that was a tremendous, tremendous fight. And I think what it was, a split. One judge saw it as a draw. Two other judges ended up giving over to Adames. But they're going to be trouble. And I hate to see that. I hated to see that somebody had to win that fight. But it also puts Adames in position. He gets to move forward. I hate to see, once again, Derenchenko coming up short when he's been putting on such spectacular fights. But that fight against him and Adames was a tremendous fight. And neither one of them going to want to take that rematch, because I guarantee they probably going to be they had to go to the hospital the night after that fight. They had to go sit in the hospital. And they probably in the same room with each other. And they watched the main event in the same hospital room together, because they were laying it on each other. And that was a taxing fight, man, because I mean, it was taxing. It was tremendous. That's the type of fight you want to see. That's movie type stuff that they put on right there.
And did you notice, Reggie, the adjustment that Derenchenko made? Because he realized that Adames' hand speed was, and his quickness was going to be a problem. So he kind of sold out a little bit to get himself closer to Adames so he could get in those body shots and start working his combinations on the inside. And he noticed that Adames was not comfortable at mid-range. So he tried to plant himself there. That's what we talk about making adjustments during a fight and on the fly. Salute to Derenchenko for having the experience in boxing and the wherewithal to do that, because he's just about 10 years older than Adames. So it was like he couldn't let that quickness and everything just pick him apart from the outside. So he closed that gap and found a better place for himself during the fight. I love when I'm able to see that type of adjustment in a fight and see a guy put himself in a more favorable position than to rather just stay on the outside or whatever, get picked apart and just beaten up pretty much or whatever. It was a darn good fight, man, by both men. A very good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What a tremendous performance. And these dudes they both deserve some kind of belt for that type of stuff, man, and some extra pay. I mean, like I say, I don't know what the heck they was fighting for, but whatever it was, it meant a lot to them too. It meant a lot to them because they just went out there for it. And even looking at that other fight, man, seeing that dude for the first time, the Fortuna fight, watching someone go after that guy. And that fight was looking as if it was almost a derailment for Dunas, that guy who went out there. They came with a perfect strategy. I just wish they turned the gas up a little bit more as they went in here and start to weighing in shots on that dude, rough him out, because it's easy to pull this dude for Dunas out of a game plan. It's easy to make him go into one to kind of warrior back because he has that in him to where he doesn't use his height and reach. He's very, very, very lanky to be in this division and being that tall. So therefore, he doesn't really have the energy if you lay on him, press the attack on him rather than sitting on the outside of his punches. And also that other dude really wasn't feeling the effects of his punches, and he kept walking forward at him. He'd take big shots, walk forward at him. And it looks like it was looking as if he was starting to kind of break down Fortuna mentally and discourage Fortuna. Fortuna was like, dang, what do I got to get this guy up off of me? And then almost forcing Fortuna to try to have to rely on his height and reach. And then that guy come back and start boxing him, outboxing him. But it was like, that was a fun fight right there. But it was something that Fortuna could almost had his track over there railroaded tonight.
Where the hell did they find Sergey Garcia? That guy, he came in there, Reggie, like he's a top 10 fighter. And I had never seen him before. And they said that he fought most of his fights somewhere else in another country or something. And I'm like, okay, didn't I just say on a stream last week that there's guys somewhere else in the world that can come over here and kick your favorite fighter's butt? I just said that this past week.
Absolutely.
You know, and see, for people who thought I was talking crap, there you go. There's the example of what I was saying. And I wasn't saying it trying to be a smart ass or trying to act like a know-it-all. But I'm like, man, there are literally people. Boxing is an international sport. And for as long as those people who want to remain local or central, it's like, man, you're going to always find yourself disappointed. Open your mind up to what the possibilities are for the sport and then dig in on that, because a couple of rounds, this kid, Garcia, could have taken that fight. I actually had him up in the fight because I was judging him on the effective aggression. Not always just punches landed, but the effective aggression aspect. And he kind of put Fundora in a place where Fundora couldn't be the aggressor the entire time. Now, he did say at post-fight he was trying to work on boxing more or whatever. But funny how you say that, and every other damn time you were supposed to box, and you just went in there taking people out and banging with people because you had a tremendous advantage. Listen, you didn't have a tremendous advantage against Mr. Garcia, because Mr. Garcia was in there trying to take your head off in this fight tonight. He had that boy leaking like a faucet. He had him up against the ropes more than we've ever seen him in the past, because usually Fundura's got other people against the ropes and banging on them. So, you know, we were entertained by someone who, even at a tremendous size disadvantage, was competing with him in a way which you could really respect and actually show quite completely what some of Fundura's most outstanding weaknesses are. So salute to Mr. Garcia, man. I want to see him again. And salute to Divine Sense. I see you out there, Divine. Good to see you, man. But yeah, what a great card, Reggie. They are just giving us so much boxing love, man, that what can you say, bro? What can you say about this stuff? And then, like you were talking about earlier, you know, and the fact that shelling out for pay-per-view. If this is what you're gonna see when you shell out for pay-per-view, you don't mind, because you're getting your value of the dollar that you spend when championship fights are competitive, when non-championship fights have people fighting like they have something at stake and with spirit and motivation. Just a tremendous job done by Showtime, man.
Man, absolutely great job by Showtime. And like you said, they're finding these fighters and matching them up so well. These matchups have been tremendous. And like I said, it ain't always, everybody always points towards, oh man, here go the cherry pick. I don't know his name. I don't know him. Where he from? Man, some of these dudes are real. Some of these dudes out here are very, very real. And they've been displaying them to us a little bit. And it's like we overlook them because they come from over there. And we come from here. Like, fight fans gotta break out of this. Now we get to see Tank in his toughest fight with a guy who ain't from here, a guy who we have overlooked. But this is a guy who Manny Pacquiao has placed his eye on. Manny Pacquiao's doing a great job at scouting talent out here. Manny Pacquiao's doing a great job at scouting talent out here. He has presented this guy, and they also got a guy in Cambosos. Manny Pacquiao knows what he's doing, and I think they're going to be having some great business with Manny Pacquiao presenting some international talent over here to going up against some of the favorite guys over here. And Tank Davis, may want to hope that he never has to face a fight as tough as, well, he may want to fight tough fights. He don't want no easy walk through the parks. But this could have been one of Tank Davis's greatest tests, and he may never find an opponent that poses this much resistance to him, to where he has to go through this type of firestorm with someone. And it was a great test for him, And I mean, this is tremendous, man. They've been putting on some tremendous events, tremendous matchups. These guys have scouting talent. They know what they see. And it's good that they didn't just get him no opponent that he was going to walk through. And I definitely don't think that they thought this guy was a walkthrough. And this was a very, very tough matchup. And Manny Pacquiao brought one of his guns out here, and they almost pulled it off.
Well, another interesting thing about what you mentioned, Reggie, about this is that those of us who really know boxing, we know that Tank is far more talented than how they've been matching him. But that being said, it was the reason why he was able to be victorious tonight, because of the talent he has. Because if he wasn't as talented as some of us have foreseen him to be, or who have stated plainly that we feel that he is, Isak would have beat him tonight. Now, even though I had to fight a draw, that's because of, my way of that I was, scoring the bout. I could have easily been wrong, but at the same time, I understand what Tank really means to the sport and everything. But if he didn't have it, like a Ryan Garcia or a Teofimo Lopez, he would have dropped that tonight, even with a hurt hand, whatever he had to do to survive and come out on top. That may not have been, what was best for him. And for some of those who think that Isak might be, slim pickings, going forward, you better think again, because this fight didn't even do nothing but probably fire up the furnace in his belly even more. I want to see the kid, get another shot somewhere, or whatever. But Tank has the talent to box. When he was boxing tonight, he looked great. Great hand speed, great lateral movement, the pivots and things of that nature. All of that we've seen. And we've seen him do it very well. But not enough against, the stiffest of the competition that we would like. But Tank is not a hype job. He's not. It's just that Floyd needs to go sit his butt down somewhere and let the man have a career. Floyd can cause more problems than help with circumstances. By Tank fighting on his promotional group or whatever, yeah, he can get the exposure like some guys may not get, and even some of the promotion that some guys don't get and need. But Floyd still gets in the way. He's got to stop that, man. He's got to stop it. And if he were to do so, maybe Tank can just relax and be an even better fighter than what we've seen. What are your thoughts on that, Reggie?
Now, I like the way that Floyd and them are running his career, but I think at some point Floyd and them have to get out the way of certain things, though. I think Floyd is in the way of, the Devin Haney type fights, the Kambosos type fights. He may get in the way of that. Teofimo fights. He was in the way of the Loma fights. He has to stop doing that. But as far as positioning,
but that's not even what I'm talking about, Reggie. I'm talking about him like positioning himself tonight in the ring and ringside and talking to Tank and stuff. It's like, dude, go somewhere. That's what I'm talking about.
He can't help that. Yeah, no, he can't. He ain't gonna help that.
He's going to cause something eventually. He will. Remember the Santa Cruz fight? Same thing. In the Santa Cruz fight, he was over there in between the ropes. You remember that?
Oh yeah. No, I remember he was that Santa Cruz? Yeah, I think so. Where he's saying he was behind on the cards.
Yeah, it's like, but but I do think Tank is growing up. He's making some choices in his own career that are going to separate him in a manner that he needs the separation to take place. But I just want it to happen for Tank and want it to be his glory. I don't want Floyd to have the say so of how much glory Tank has or whatever. And Leonard Ellerby is just a guy who has drank from the pool of Floyd so much that even he has a great deal of that influence that I consider negative influence, but so be it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But as you can see, as you mentioned, Manny Pacquiao's charges that he's been bringing, Manny ain't got to be right there ringside and in the guy's dressing room and all of that stuff. He's letting these guys. He's picked some great talent and he's putting them out there and putting them in a position to be successful. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, no, I feel what y'all saying, but I like what they doing. I just wish the problem I got with Floyd is that they haven't been able to present more fighters. That's the other side of things. I don't think there's enough fighters that they have groomed, but that's kind of the thing with a lot of promotions is that there's only one fighter coming up out of these companies. I wish he would have done more to generate some level of success and fame and other fighters that come from other divisions. But I got no knock on Floyd. Is it annoying seeing him in the spotlight at times at press conference? Yeah. But has he put Tank back on the right track? Absolutely. And I can't knock them for that. I won't do that.
Oh, I forgot you love Floyd like that. My fault.
No, I don't love him. I just ain't gonna nitpick and knock the guy.
Yeah, you do, Reggie. Yeah, you do. Cause if I prod you a little bit more, man, you'll start talking about what he accomplished and everything, and pull out his record sheet and everything, and we ain't got enough hours left in the show for all of that. So.
Nah, man, it ain't like that. I just don't be fighting no need to knock him. I don't be knocking him. I don't knock out Heyman. I don't do none of that. But I knock Bob Arum.
Well, yeah, we all knock Bob Arum. I mean, clear the shelves of Depends. That'll frustrate him to no end. But that first fight on the card, Ramirez and Marriaga, man, that was a doggone good featherweight fight there, man. I came in after the first round was closing out, and Marriaga was a veteran fighter that taking on the younger Ramirez, man. These guys, Reggie, they set the tone for the night. I don't know if you saw that one, but those two men were banging and slanging. I mean, it was like, and salute to KQKC. He said that Ramirez had beat the flesh off of Marriaga's face. But the dude just got a funny looking face. But hey, those men were going at it, bro. They were going at it. I never seen such contact made, and then a guy just keep on fighting. It's like, don't want to give it up or whatever, because Marriaga could have laid it down, bro. But he fought. He fought on, and that was a battle. That set the tone for the entire card, bro. Did you see that first fight?
Yeah, I was watching and it turned because I thought Marriaga started off the first 2 rounds pretty good.
Right.
And I was like, this dude Ramirez is going to have trouble. And he immediately turned that. He turned that. He made the adjustment. He ignited himself and he just came in here and beating the brakes out of him. I thought they would have probably tried to stop the fighters at some point. But he definitely put a beating on. But that dude Mariaga never laid down. But that was a tremendous fight. And like I said, it did set off the night. It definitely opened the card to a good vibration. And I think every fighter just lived off. They floated off of that one, man. But it was a good, tremendous job from Ramirez to really turn that around, because I thought he was going to be in trouble as that fight went on. But he really picked it up and started to kind of break down Mariaga, who just wouldn't give up. But he took a tremendous butt whooping in that fight.
Yeah, he was taking some. And Ramirez kind of looked like a Navarrete out there or something. The way he was just letting his hands go and he couldn't miss. It was just straight contact. Boom, 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 boom. That's how the punches was landed. Square. And even though Mariaga was like standing in front of him trying to give some head movement, it was like every time he moved his head, Ramirez wouldn't throw the shot. Then when he stopped moving his head, he threw the shot and hit him. It was kind of funny, man, because it was an all-contact match, bro. All contact. And I loved it, man. It was, like I said, it set the tone for the night. And it was very entertaining. The whole card was, man. And salute to Ken Cashes out there in the message chime that just subscribed to the channel. We appreciate your subscription. Hope you enjoy the content and more to come. But yeah, Reggie, a tremendous card tonight, man. Tremendous card. Boxing won again. What can we say about the fourth quarter of this year and how they put these matches together, man? I mean,
right?
I've been blown away. It's going to be hard to pick a fighter of the year. Fight of the year, candidate. Because a lot of it may have come straight from this fourth quarter, even though there were some fights early in the year that we saw that were like early candidates, But it's like, man. And the women of boxing, whoo, that has taken off tremendously. I'm still raving about the performance by my Chicagoan Jessica McCaskill, man. She put hands, foot, and everything on that girl last night. She really did with her performance, man. So 2022 is looking up. There's some great matches to be talked about, man, coming up, And I hope that they just stick to their guns and continue to provide us with, such very good boxing matches to look forward to.
Yeah, and there should be a lot of unifications on the line for next year. A lot of unifications.
Yeah.
And undisputed matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to that as well. So, as we put that together, it's like we still got like next week, I think it's Conor Benn taking on Chris Algieri. And I think Katie Taylor's back defending her titles again. So, yeah, it's like we're still, closing this year out with a few more matches off of DAZN. I think one of the other networks might try to, ESPN or somebody might try to sneak a fight or two in as well. But how solid, man. Because you remember even at December of last year, we weren't getting, really good stuff,
But yeah, 2022 is definitely gonna be a hot year, man. I can't wait for it.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you got? You got anything else on tonight's fights that you want to cover before we get up out of here?
No, that was all that I had for tonight. Excellent night. Excellent.
Yeah.
And what a way to go into my Monday. I got some stuff to talk with the boxing fans at work.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Great stuff. And man, I'm kind of numb because it's like I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? It was like, it's gonna be something. I thought Tank might knock the dude out in 2 or 3 rounds or something, you know. But the fight got tougher and tougher, you know. And at the end of the day, it was all we could ask for and more. So, you know, I really like that, man. I like it. So, you know. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and give us your final thoughts, Reggie, and we'll get on up out of here. Let everybody know where they can find you when you're calling these fights.
Oh, yes, indeed, man. Y'all can find me on Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens on the main channel, the backup one. But once again, man, I want to say salute to Devin Haney, Jojo Diaz, Tank Davis, Isaac Cruz, Sergey Derevchenko, what's his name, Carlos Adamez. Who else gave off some great fights this week? Duna, this Garcia cat, Moriaga, the guy he fought, Ramirez. I mean, dang, man, these dudes been doing some excellent work, man. I got to show appreciation for these cats, and looking forward to what we get out of 2022, man. And the unification fighters, get out there, get these fights. Man, keep this sport of boxing where it needs to be, man. Keep this sport of boxing where it needs to be. And hopefully fans gain a great appreciation and stop complaining about these dang fights being made. Stop being fanboys and just thinking every fighter got to be a celebrity to have something worthy to watch, because you never know who is out here and what fighter's going to give, because these fighters been given their heart and pushing dudes who everybody think they're going to walk through somebody, and it hasn't been turning out that way. Ain't no givens in this sport, and that's the way it should be. But that's my thoughts.
Yes, sir. And I second that, all of that. It's been great. I have to get up for work in the morning. That's why I can't stay on much longer. But I'm very pleased that I got a chance to see the fights this evening, the fights yesterday evening. And salute to everybody that's just been coming out to support us, because we've been doing very well with our post-fight show. Lots of views from different parts of the world and whatnot. And we always try to bring the quality when we talk about these fights and in the aftermath, the breakdowns and what have you. Just can't dedicate too much time for it this evening because I got to get me some shut-eye. And it's been kind of tough for me to get my rest with this pinched nerve. So I'm going to get on up out of here myself. Salute to everybody that came out and wanted to hear us talk about these fights on the Davis versus Cruz card. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I hope Tank's hand is not too bad so he can come back in a decent amount of time and fight again. And let's see Isak in the ring again as well. The young man fought spirited, nothing to hang his head over, and he has officially arrived because the world saw him tonight. Tank delivers the numbers, and he was in there with someone who has eyes laid on, so it's like it's not going to do anything but boost his career, you know? So for my man Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens, this is Stormybman. We're going to sign on off for now. Peace to everybody out there, and we will catch you guys on the next one, which is more than likely next weekend after the fights take place. So salute everybody. Have a great night. Peace.
Peace.